starting right now. Here's your host, Alfredo Leon.
Thank Allah, as Kurt Busch earned his first win of the season by outracing his younger brother Kyle in overtime in a door-to-door finish to the Kentucky Speedway finish line in Sparta, Kentucky. The victory comes a week after Busch lost at Daytona because he pitted from the lead moments before weather stopped the race. That pit call haunted Busch and his Chip Ganassi racing team all week, but it was a call for 4 tires late in the race that gave Busch a shot at racing for the win. Here is Busch talking about how it felt getting a win after what had happened at Daytona the week prior, and more courtesy of NBCSN.
It's awesome. I mean, just to get back to victory lane for the first time with a new team, I mean, it's the world to me. But with all these guys, there's so many that got their first win tonight, and they put me in position. A fast car, we had lap time, and we got a nice lucky break to get a shot at it with that yellow at the end. It takes teamwork all the way through, and thanks to Chevrolet, Monster Energy, with Gear Wrench, Global Poker, these guys are winners, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Joey Logano had the win in hand until a spin by Bubba Wallace with 6 laps left sent the race into overtime. Logano and Busch lined up side by side on the restart for what was expected to be a race for the victory, but both Erik Jones and Kurt Busch put their cars into the mix for an intense final 2 laps. Kurt and Kyle touched as they raced for the lead. Both cars wiggled, and it appeared Kurt was headed into the wall, but he recovered to squeeze past his brother right before the checkered flag. Here is Kurt speaking on what he was processing since his last win at Bristol 30 races ago, and a new team at more, also courtesy of NBCSN.
Well, it's just a matter of getting the new team up to speed, so to speak, with all the right ingredients. I mean, you got a pit crew, engines, aero, side force. We got to make mistakes to learn from those lessons. We got guys like this right here, Chip Ganassi. You're in victory lane, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you. I told you we'd make these guys winners. I'll call you back. But no, thank you to everybody on this team back at the shop that works on this car and makes it the winning car that it is. We're going to have those days where things don't go right. Today, things went right, and my little brother gave me just enough room. It was like, you're going to lift, I ain't going to lift. You're going to lift, I ain't going to lift. And we had a duel. We had a duel going out there 3 and 4, and I didn't know who was going to come out on top.
The Busch brothers finished 1-2, but it was the first win of the year for Kurt Busch and his new Ganassi team. Here is Kurt's crew chief, Matt McCall, speaking on what it was like to see Kyle and Kurt duel it out on the last lap and more, also courtesy of NBCSN.
Badass. That's the easiest way to put it. 2 racers getting after it, and the old man here figured it out.
McCall was also asked on what he felt about his first win as a crew chief.
Yes, sir. Miss what you work every day for. A lot of hours, but got a wheel man now.
After the Busch brothers, here's the rest of the top 10. Third, Kyle's teammate Erik Jones for Joe Gibbs Racing. Fourth, Kyle Larson driving a 42 car at Chip Ganassi Racing. Denny Hamlin finishing 5th driving 11 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. Clint Boyer finishing 6th driving the 14 car for Stewart Haas Racing. Joey Logano wound up finishing 7th driving the 22 car for Team Penske. Daniel Suarez finishing 8th driving the 41 car for Stewart Haas Racing. Ryan Newman finishing 9th driving the 6th car for Roush Fenway Racing. Chris Buescher finishing 10th driving the 37 car for JTG Daughtery Racing. And other notables included Jimmy Johnson finishing 30th in the 48 car for Hendrick Motorsports. The victory is the 3rd straight for Chevrolet and first in 9 races at Kentucky. It ended a 2-race winless streak for Mark Truex Jr. and Toyota. Here's Kyle speaking on finishing 2nd to his brother and more, courtesy of NBCSN.
Glad it was a thriller. You know, just unfortunately we were on the wrong end of the deal for everybody at M&M's and Toyota. Interstate Batteries, all the folks that get us to where we're at. But congratulations to Kurt and Chip and Monster, all the guys over there. It's obviously cool to put on great races and great finishes, and been a part of a lot of them, and not very many. In fact, none with my brother like that, so that was a first. But, no hard feelings. We'll move on.
Kyle also spoke on whether the 4 fresh tires made a difference in Kurt winning and more.
Yeah, I didn't know that they had 4 tires, so I guess that probably had some of the difference. I knew I cleared them into 3, and if I just stayed in the gas, I was never going to make the exit. I was going to plow the fence.
Also, due to Kurt winning, Kyle wound up taking a plane back home to North Carolina without Kurt, and he was supposed to go to Kyle. Here's Kurt's thoughts about it.
I haven't seen him yet, but I was supposed to fly home with him, and now I'm looking for a plane ride. So that's Kyle. It's like that's he won't even wait. We shared a plane ride earlier this year. I think it was Phoenix where he won, and I had to sit there and wait for him to do his little victory lane thing. So it'd be fine. We're going over to his house tomorrow, actually, for a little get-together on a Sunday off, and I'm going to plop the trophy down right on his kitchen counter.
What a race at Kentucky. Who would have thought that Kentucky Speedway would have one of the best races of the year on the schedule? Usually Kentucky Speedway is a snooze fest. Usually at the basement as far as rankings as on the best NASCAR tracks, like one of the worst. And usually it's a snooze fest, and even it's been like listed as one of the tracks that NASCAR is better off without. But this was not the case on Saturday night at Kentucky, over there at Kentucky. As this was a great race. The finish was outstanding between Kurt Busch and Kyle Busch, the two brothers. And I thought on that last lap, especially when the two had contact and Kurt had tire, like it looked like his tire was smoking. I thought, he had a tire going down and then he was going to lose it. And then, but he was able to recover and he was able to still find a way to get by Kyle and win. It looked like when Kyle got by, it looked like he was going to win the race, but Kurt was able to back and win. So that was a close call. But on the last time, even if you have a tire problem, you're not gonna stop or slow down. You gotta go for it, see what happens. I mean, I saw the smoke coming out of the left rear tire, and I thought he was out of tire going down, but it did not happen. And that was fortunate for Kurt Busch. He was able to get a win and get his first win for Chip Ganassi Racing. It definitely redeemed himself for what happened last week, the previous race at Daytona with the pit call. But he had no idea that they were going to have to stop again for lightning and everything. It was just happened so fast. It was a tough decision for Matt McCullough's crew chief to have him go down pit road. And I mean, they said one to go, and they had to, and the race was supposed to go back green. But as a result, it didn't. And as a result, Justin Haley wound up winning the race. And Kurt Busch, I think he finished 10th. But what a redemption this following week at Kentucky. Finally, something good about Kentucky. I mean, this race has not been good on the schedule since they've added it. I mean, prior to Kurt winning, there's only been 4 winners, and 7 of those races were won by 3 drivers. Kyle Busch, Mark Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski. The only one that wasn't won by them prior to Kurt was Matt Kenseth in 2013 when he took I think he took no tires or 2 tires on that last pit stop since the race was postponed to the next day because of weather, rain. And he won that race in 2013 on strategy. And other than that, though, only 3 drivers have won this race in 9 tries before. Well, this was the 9th one with Kurt winning. And first time for Chevy to do it. It just hadn't been a very competitive race. It was just usually dominated early on by Keselowski and Busch, Kyle Busch. And mostly it was just either one of them winning and then until Kenseth won. And then Truex won the last 2 years. And finally, we got some competitiveness at Kentucky, and I think it has to do with the aero package specifically, and what a win for Kurt to be able to redeem himself and get his first win for Chip Ganassi Racing, put himself in the playoffs now, has some momentum, and that was just a great race at the end, especially the contact and the battle between the two of them. I mean, Kyle, if that wasn't Kurt, his brother, Kyle Busch would have wrecked him if it wasn't Kurt Busch, like he did with Larson at Chicagoland, when Dale Jr. had the slide job call, the famous slide job call that he had on NBC. So, but he gave respect to Kurt, and I have a lot more respect now for Kurt Busch, especially now after winning this race. He's definitely become a different person than what he used to be when he was much younger, when he drove for Team Penske or Roush, when he was just a hothead and he always got upset. And even not long after that, he got suspended for a lot of different incidents, domestic violence, and also with a pit reporter like saying bad things to him. And he's definitely calmed down. And a perfect example was when at the press conference after the race, when Kyle, he left on a plane without him, still showing very immaturity by doing that and not waiting for Kurt. After Kurt did that at Phoenix when Kyle won, I think it was earlier in the year. And Kurt handled it like a true champion he is. Professional. He laughed about it as well. He just joked about it. He said he's going to bring the trophy over to dinner the next day and show it at Kyle's house, like everything like that. So props to Kurt Busch for coming a long way for what he used to be. And good for him to be able to handle the situation of a very immature thing that Kyle did. but Kurt handled it like a true champion he is, and good for him that he did that. But what a race though. I mean, the competition was great, and it was unfortunate for Legato though on that last caution to that restart. He was going to pull away and win, but I'm glad that Kurt won, especially, and also it's good to see somebody other than, like I said, Kyle Busch and Martin Truex and Brad Keselowski win, since it's mostly been them and winning and not many other new drivers, as Kentucky hasn't produced a lot of new winners. It's good to finally see a different winner at Kentucky, especially the package help keeping the competition closer together. So the aero package, I think, definitely helped out Kentucky, and so kudos to NASCAR for doing that. And definitely the tires didn't fall off either. I mean, look how long Kyle was on the track, like, and especially like all the laps he's had, and tires didn't fall off that much, especially even when guys got new tires. There's a lot of strategy as well, fuel only and two tires, the shuffling of the running order. And Kurt wound up being 4th or 5th after Jones ended up getting the tires, and even fuel only. I think 2 tires for Jones, and Kyle and Danny Hamlin got only fuel only, I think, and they were much further ahead. But that caution definitely helped out with the four fresh tires. And Kyle said in the interview he didn't even have any idea that Kurt had 4 fresh tires. So, and as a result of the 4 fresh tires, it definitely was the right call, even though it didn't look like it at first because the caution didn't happen. But he was definitely moving his way up through the field, and that caution was big. It definitely was a great feel-good moment that he won the week after he should have won at Daytona because of the lightning. But like I said, he had no idea in the crew chief. They said 1 to go. I mean, when they said 1 to go, they had to do it, because if they would have went green, they would have been a sitting duck because of all the tires and fuel and everything like that. So it was a tough decision, but it didn't pay off. But this one wound up paying off. They got the break of the caution in overtime, but they finally won. So congratulations to him on getting the win, and first win for Chip Ganassi Racing, like, for him, and first crew win, like, at overall for a lot of his team, like he said, like, especially McCall, his crew chief. So congratulations to him, and good job out of him, and great race for Kentucky. Never thought I would say that. Most people never thought they would say that. So great race overall for sure. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you are brand new. Subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.